Sure, I'm Alan Anderson, and I've been with the program since its inception, so that's covering some 50 years. I was the former, and for many years, the chair of the program. Well, yeah, so that was back in 1968, and that's when I came to the university. And when I first joined, the program had just started as a concentration within a 3-year general BA, and it had relatively few students at that time. There were 4 departments: sociology, history, geography, and economics and political science, as it was called then, was a single department. And these contributed international courses to the program. In 1975, the International Committee of the University Council, which was chaired by Dr. John Owen in the College of Medicine, this committee was charged with promoting internationalization of the university curriculum. So out of that, there were 2 subcommittees established. One was to establish a 4-year honors and advanced BA in international studies within the College of Arts and Science. And another subcommittee was to develop an interdisciplinary capstone seminar in international studies. When this was a concentration just within a 3-year BA, you could call it multidisciplinary, but not interdisciplinary. So there was some concern that there should be a final year seminar that sort of brought everything together. And this 4-year program then commenced finally in 1978, so 10 years after the concentration, IS concentration for the general degree. Well, there were quite a few changes. I was the first chair or coordinator of the new 4-year IS program, and subsequently I chaired the program intermittently 4 times right through to 2006. In fact, I also served on the committee administering the program continuously for almost 40 years, except when I was on international leave occasionally. And I also taught advanced seminars, both of, well, what became 2 advanced seminars in IS, and the sociology courses in the program, which were comparative ethnic relations, comparative urbanization, sociology of development, and cross-cultural perspectives on poverty. Eventually, the final year seminar was divided into 2 seminars: international cooperation and conflict and international development. And these also became the source of what were called streams, in other words, concentrations developed within the program, as well as area studies, which were Latin America with the Guatemala program shared with the University of Guelph, and Eastern Europe. Study abroad was another thing that developed. This was strongly encouraged, and in fact I also chaired the University Council committees to develop study abroad opportunities between 1999 and 2006. A 2nd-year course in international studies was added, and the program also expanded to include, from these original what were originally 4 departments, to include anthropology, religious studies, women's and gender studies, humanities. So it expanded quite a bit. Perhaps one thing more I should mention in this regard is that there was quite an active IS student association. How much time do you have? Quite a few. I think in running the program, negotiating with participating departments to release faculty to teach interdisciplinary IS courses and administration of the program, this would be one significant challenge. Of course, building and maintaining the interdisciplinary independence of the program. obtaining the support of the Dean's Office, and not the least as the numbers of students kept increasing, in fact quite rapidly, we needed administrative support. IS soon became the largest interdisciplinary program in the college with over 100 students. Now there were over 20 students in the advanced seminars, so we needed to split these into 2 sections actually. So all that administrative challenges, which I was of course quite familiar with, had to deal with. But as for the students, this was a demanding program requiring capability in several academic disciplines. I would say survival in macro and microeconomics. That was always voiced by students as the most difficult. Proficiency in languages and so on. So there were a lot of challenges. Yeah, I think they have over the years. As I said, there were very few, and then there got to be very many. But what were they like? I think initially what you had was Canadian students who had limited familiarity, to put it politely, with international experience. But this changed, especially with study abroad programs. Then we had mostly Canadians having ample international experience, very ample in some cases. I mean, I had students who had been even to 4 or 5 different international placements, so extraordinary experience. And most recently, another change was I saw an increase, at least when I continued, even after I retired, to teach, for example, a seminar in development. We were getting students, more international students, and they had extraordinary first-hand experience. One I had, for example, in a seminar was from the Congo, and his brother had been a child soldier. Another was from the largest refugee camp of Somalis in Kenya, on the border of Somalia. So these type of students, usually a bit older than the average, but they'd had a lot of first-hand experience compared to their Canadian counterparts. There are lots of successes, and I love bragging about the program, of course. First and foremost, the high quality of the graduates. They've excelled in graduate programs in many universities, not only in Canada, but also, for example, in Europe and elsewhere. And some, in fact, stayed at the U of S in law, political studies, public policy. They all resurfaced there. Of course, I think a lot, at least originally, a lot of IS students said, well, we'll work for foreign affairs, you know, and go to Ottawa and so on. Some did. But besides those that worked for what became the Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, and some of them following a whole career in DFATE and becoming fairly important in that organization. They also, I can think of lots who work for international NGOs, very interesting work in diversity of countries. Immigrant and refugee agencies. I volunteer here in Saskatoon at Global Gathering Place, one of the major refugee and immigrant settlement agencies, and at GGP, as we call it, one of the managers is an IS grad, a couple of staff members, so it's another place they've gone. They've worked in journalism and some as university professors. I should add also that IS became a model for similar programs in other Canadian universities. One thing that I participated in was a network of such programs. So the chairs would meet annually. This was an international development studies network. But there was a lot of praise for how we'd taken the initiative here. And this program, I don't know if there were any others that developed before, but certainly it was one of the earliest. And so it became a model, as I say, for a lot of other similar programs across Canada. Hi, I'm Alan Anderson, and now Professor Emeritus at the University of Saskatchewan. It's been a great privilege to have helped to develop the IS program.